So today, without any further ado, so the whole month of November at Art of Alignment Academy, I have themes for every month. This month, we're talking about energy. And I'm talking about energy from the perspective of your life force, your vital energy, what ignites you, what enlightens you, what makes you be the way you are actually. So yes, we have this body, we have a sort of what I like to call flesh suit, right? This is one type of suit that we wear. It's like the masks that we wear in our lives. And when I talk about masks, I talk about every identity that you wear throughout your life. So, for example, you may have a mask of the daughter, you may have a mask of the sister, of a spouse or lover, or maybe the mask of a teacher, of a practitioner. So, very much like the masks that we wear, this flesh suit, this body that we have, is really what is encasing our vital life force, our energy. So when you think about people in your life, people that inspire you, people that ignite you, people that you feel have a certain je ne sais quoi, you are attracted to them for some reason. Most of the time, it's not necessarily their outer body that calls you in so much as their energy, their vital life force. So if someone tends to be quite positive or tends to be compassionate, usually has a nice, kind word to say, or just feels comfortable in their own body, what you're tapping into there is their vital life force, their energy. Sometimes you can meet a very outwardly attractive person, what we may call beautiful. You might consider someone who looks a certain way to be beautiful physically, outwardly. And then you get to chat with them a little bit, and you're like, ooh, all of a sudden, they may not be as attractive as what you originally thought. Well, that's part of their energy, how someone comes off. If someone is standoffish, or maybe says things that are unkind, or maybe someone is gossiping, even though they might be beautiful initially on the outside, you realize that they do not have that light, that beauty on the inside. Their life force, their vital energy may be dimmed. They may be covered in some energetic muck. So today, I really want to take some time with you to explore what is life force and the way that I work with it and the way that I interpret it, of course, in relationship with my work and to the fascial system. So first and foremost, excuse me, let's just define the terms. So life force, what do I mean when I'm talking about life force? So essentially, it's the energy that makes living things alive. So it's an energetic. And it's referred to as life force, or I also refer to it as vital energy, this vital energy inside your body. And it's understood as the dynamic force that sustains our physical and emotional well-being. So imagine it as the invisible, this invisible vital power that keeps us breathing, our hearts beating, and our bodies functioning. It's the energy that distinguishes a living organism from an inanimate object. So it's that internal power, that life force that is often called by different names in different cultures. And we've talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago. Excuse me. So in various cultures, such as in Chinese medicine, it's known as the qi. The qi is life force. Prana is what they call it in Hinduism, or in our philosophy, in Western philosophy, it's vital energy or life force. So what is it that animates us from the inside out? What is that energy to which we have the power to tap into at any moment of our lives. How do you understand this life force? Well, essentially, it means that you're getting a grasp of the invisible energy that runs through all living things. So when you see a plant or a garden or beautiful flowers or animals and the way that they negotiate their movement through life or their beauty or their growing process, there's an invisible internal movement that is arising there that helps us to get into a certain vibrational frequency. So life force, vital energy, is very much related to the type of vibrational frequency that you connect to in your own life. And I'll give you an example. Your vital life force for many people is directly correlated to sound. So if you're listening to music that is enlivening, that has a great beat to it, all of a sudden your internal movement starts to vibrate at a different level, which inevitably manifests physically, as is known as dance movement, right? So when you start to move because you are ignited internally, this high vibrational frequency that actually comes from music, from the vibrational frequency in instruments, can enliven us. That makes us move in a certain way. So that is what excites and gets our vital life force ignited. I just posted something on my personal page today, my Facebook page. Maybe you've heard of Bobby McFerrin, famous musician, an acoustic musician, also using a lot of sounds. And if you have a chance, just visit my page today on Facebook, Anne-Marie Duchesne, and just take a look at what he's done. He's a genius and a perfect example of how vibrational frequency and expectation of an innate knowing of how sound works that has us vibrating at a much higher level and therefore increasing our life force. It's like realizing there's something more to our existence than just our physical bodies, right? Something that makes us move. And people have different beliefs and explanations for what life force is, but the core is that it's the source of our vitality and health. Don't forget this word, vitality. We're going to be tapping into that a lot very early on in the new year. So it's the core idea. Understanding your life force is the core idea that it's the source of our vitality and health. Certain practices that I've talked about many times in these classes is conscious movement, something that I'd love for you to research on your end, something called movement continuum. It's a very deep and interesting way to actually work with our fascial system. Very slow, intentional movement that helps us to tap into this life force, right? Meditation is another way for us to tap into a different level of vital energy. When we calm everything around us, when we are able to gently start to let the mind settle, you can connect with your life force in a very different way. And it helps us to raise our level of consciousness, because when you're outside of the noise, you can cultivate that life force, that vital energy in silence, in peace. So if you are someone who tends to be anxious, if you have worries in your life, if you're worried about the future, which is very normal right now because there's a lot going on in the world, being able for you to tap into your life force, your vital energy through prayer, meditation, listening to soothing music or music that enlivens you, directly taps into the quality of your internal vibrational frequency. So I hope This is helpful so far. Jenny wrote, "Don't worry, be happy." Yes, yes, Jenny, exactly. Don't worry, be happy. And yet, at the same times, when you do worry, when something happens in your life, in your environment, with your child, or a lot of the time, what we worry about is not related to the present moment, but a lot of the time it's related to our past, and it starts to creep up into your present moment. Can any of you identify with this? Some stories of your past that slowly start to seep into your present and actually becoming a factor of decision in the present moment, when in fact it's the past, it's gone. So, in a sense, when you live in your past, or if you live in an unknown future, you are choosing to vibrate at that frequency, which means that you're out of the present moment. And so, the importance of being able to cultivate a high level of vibrational frequency, a balanced level of life force, for you to tap into that life force, doesn't mean that you have to do a lot of big physical movements. Rather, much the opposite. It's the ability to come to center and to calm your nervous system down, because it all works together, of course. All of your human systems work together. So take a moment for yourself and, look at your life right now. Look at your life right now and determine, what do you think about most of the time? What's on your mind most of the time? Are you living here in this moment? Are you beginning again fresh every day? Or do you have a tendency to go back and to have the past pull you back into stories of what happened to you before? Because if you're living through your past, your present actions will not belong to who you are today. They actually belong to who you were in the past. So there's a disharmony there, because you're not choosing to be acting from this moment. Instead, we are choosing to be acting from what happened to us in the past. So this cultivation, this understanding of working with your life force will help you to bring yourself to center, because tapping into your vital life force demands that you be in the present moment. You can't think of your past or of the future for your vital life force. You have to be fully in the center of yourself right now and choose to vibrate at a frequency that is healthy and helpful to you. So music can do that for us in an instant. Jenny says, "I just talked about that on your prompt today." Oh, awesome. I'll check it out on our Facebook group page. Thank you, Jenny. I will look at that. Okay, so now we've talked about what is life force, understanding life force, and now what we want to dig into a little bit deeper is this idea of balance and flow. Balance and flow are really about maintaining harmony and movement in our lives. Harmony and movement our lives. And those two pieces here, especially the movement piece, we have a huge this we have a huge deciding factor, an influence on deciding how we are going to move through life, which means literally physically moving, jumping up and down, doing some tapping. I talked about this before in my different classes. So how you move through life will have a big influence on balance and flow in your life. So imagine for a moment a scale. Balance means finding the right equilibrium between different aspects of your life. For example, let's say your work and personal life. It's about finding that balance. And flow is like a river that keeps moving smoothly through your life. When our life force is in balance and flowing well, of course, we tend to feel happy. We feel healthy and we're full of energy. It's like being in the sweet spot where everything feels just right. Now, what I also want to say about that is when you're flowing through life, it's fabulous, right? Everything seems to be going well. We're in the flow. A lot of the time, though, we're not in the flow. So, what happens? What should we do when we're not in the flow? This is very important. And this is why I really want to take some time this month to talk about energy, because you have the power to shift your energy in the moment. This is only a training, my friends. It's a practice and a training. No matter your situation in life, you can tap in to this vitality that is within you. You do it through movement. You do it through listening to music. You do it by tapping into a good book or journaling. There's a real art to reading passages of inspiration, especially early in the morning, to tap into some very inspirational language, books, and get curious. Curiosity is a big part of cultivating a deep relationship with your life force. Because the more curious you are, the more you'll go beyond what you're used to. You're not going to stay stuck into, again, past beliefs. You're going to question your beliefs. You're going to question your past. You're going to question why something may have destabilized you significantly in your life, where because of the pain or the hurt that was imposed upon you at some time in your life, you are now deciding to live your life through that vision, through that energy. So balance and flow is really important because you get to decide in the morning how you wake up, even if you have to go to work every morning, right? Most of us have to work every morning. So decide right at the beginning of the morning, before you get out of bed, how do you want to flow in this day? You have the power to shift your mindset. And as soon as you make a decision into how you want to flow on this day, you will slowly start to take different actions, movement that will support cultivating a deeper relationship with your own life force. Is this making sense to you? Write a note, let me know. Sophia writes, so emotion and thought vibrations make our daily frequency. But vital life force is also what is frequently called spirit, right? Great question, Sophia. I am distinguishing between vital life force, vital energy, and spirit. And yes, it can also be called spirit. The only component to spirit, and why I'm not calling it that today, is because spirit oftentimes promotes this idea of spirituality, that it's kind of an out there fabrication. It can be connected to spirituality. People can connect it to religion. People can connect it also to spirits from their departed, their dead ones, people who have passed on. So I'm distinguishing the language, and you are also right. It can also be called your spirit, right? What lives deep within you. So for people who are spiritual, it makes sense to call it spirit. In my case, I connect to both of the words. Both of those work for me. It's just that this vital life force in my work is something that I feel underneath my hands when I work with people. And sometimes, just yesterday, I was working with one of my younger clients. She's 8 years old, and I just was working on her feet. And I asked her a question, and I said, did you do a lot of releves in class yesterday? Were you using your feet? And releves going up on the ball of the foot. It's a dance term, releve. And I said, you must have, it feels like in your foot you've done a lot of releves. And she was like, yes, oh my God, how did you know? So there's kind of like this energy that I felt in her foot. I can't tell you why I asked her that question. I had no idea what she had done the day before. I know that she's a gymnast, but I didn't know if she had class. It's just this sense of having touched bodies for so many years. Information communicates with me. So, in essence, Sophia, her energy, my energy, there was a communication pattern in the invisible, but very felt sense. So you can also say that our spirits were communicating. But in this case, because I'm working with fascia, with the fascial system, I'm listening, I'm feeling to what's occurring, what I'm feeling, sensing in her body. Is there any flow? Is there any balance in this part of her body? Or does it feel like there might be an obstruction, a lack of energetic movement in that part of the body? Does that make sense, Sophia? So they're distinguishable. Yeah, thanks, Jenny. They're distinguishable because it's not exactly the same thing as spirit. Spirit, for me, when I have a spiritual experience, or if I feel my spirit, sometimes will say, oh, my spirit is enlivened. I have high spirits today. That's also applicable. I also say that. For today, the vital life energy, the life force that you can cultivate and tap into your life is really more of a sensation, a feeling of whether there is flow, balance that is moving through your system. Do you feel that you are breathing fully? How is the life force moving through your lungs? So I'm guessing also, as I'm sharing it with you right now, that I'm correlating a little bit maybe to physiology, to how we feel physically and emotionally in our bodies. So there's a correlation, and then at the same time, a little bit of a distinction between how I'm using the words. I hope that makes sense to you, Sophia. So now, of course, because we are also working with the fascial system, your life force, your vital energy that moves through your body, well, guess what? Of course, that is moving through your connective tissue, through your fascia, that web-like connective tissue, right? That surrounds all of your muscles, your bones, your organs, that moves through your body in different ways, in different directions. So the fascia, actually, your fascial system is often called the invisible scaffolding inside of your body. And you know what scaffolding is? If you've ever been to a city anywhere in the world, certainly in New York City, we have a lot of those. It's kind of, they put that outside structure outside of buildings with planks of wood, with these metal architectural piping to kind of build a scaffolding, right? You build the layers with the planks because they're either doing repairs on the house or they're painting or whatnot. Your fascial system inside of your body can be considered like a scaffolding, right? That holds everything together, that relates to every bone in your body. So fascia will play a crucial role in maintaining the structure and the functionality of the energy through your body. So for example, if you've ever broken a bone in your body, there's been a break in your structure. So your fascial system also doesn't flow as easily in that part of your body. What needs to occur is it needs to repair itself. And how do we go into a mode of repair is to slow down, to pay attention to what's going on in our bodies, and to find solutions to assist us in repairing that bone that has broken. Either sometimes it can be through actual medical intervention, it could be a surgery. A lot of the time, we can realign bone through expert body manipulation, bone manipulation. And this is something that has been done throughout thousands of years in our history, in our culture. Today, we tend to know a little bit less about bone setting, but it's certainly a practice, and certainly I work with bone all the time. So I work on reclaiming the harmony of the movement of the bone, of the structure inside of the body. And of course, I do that through touch. I do that through energy work so that I can actually assist my patient or my client to feel more energy in that part of the body. And I invite them to heal that part of the body, of course, through breath. So their job becomes to be the breather, right? They breathe, which creates movement in the body as I reset the bone or I work alongside the bone. I'm talking about the clavicle right now, but it could be any bone. So I really assist clients to reclaim a sense of connection to their life force as we work together with hands-on. Now, you can also work with your energetic life force, your vital energy, without hands on. A lot of it has to do with breath work and with very gentle and focused, intentional movement. This is also another way for you to reclaim your health, especially if you feel like you're struggling with low energy on any given day. And this is really important because when you start to feel low in energy, it's a sign, it's a communication from your body that's saying, okay, hold on, we need to pause. Again, in our society, it's not very popular to pause. We're very fast to move forward and to work on improving ourselves one way or the other. And I'm definitely guilty of that as well. Still, the capacity, the wisdom, the intelligence of listening to our bodies when we feel that we're lacking energy is super important in terms of recalibrating and establishing balance and flow in your body. Now, your fascial system is very rich in collagen. Collagen is a very important fabric in your body that conducts electricity throughout your body. So energy is also connected to your electrical conduits through your body, right? So the collagen in your body will allow transmission and regulation of energy throughout your entire body. So you can think of this as the body's energetic highway, right? That's ensuring that energy is efficiently distributed throughout your entire body. And overall, we understand fascia as having three different layers, but there are many more layers. I'm just keeping it simple for today's purpose. So you have your superficial fascia. The superficial fascia, which is the conduit of energy in your body, is immediately underneath your skin. Then you have the deep fascia, which is a little bit deeper inside of the body. And then finally, the visceral fascia, which is the fascia that is around your viscera, your organs. Now, again, there are many more layers, but for today's purposes, we're just focusing on these three layers of collagenous tissue through which electricity is processed. And that is related to you being able to tap in to your life force, that vital energy through your physical body. So again, we find ourselves in deep mind, body, emotional, and spiritual relationship because energy affects all of those parts of who we are. And though each of those layers of connective tissue and more of those are really crucial for us to have a healthy relationship with those specific parts of our body, but in particular to that energetic flow that moves through your body. And I want to say that, yes, there is a very big part of this that's connected to spirit, to our feeling spiritually alive or connected to divine grace. And I'm going to talk about this much more in depth next month, Sophia. So just as a heads up, a little sneak peek into December, we're moving more into the conversation of nourishing our body through spiritual connection. So more on that in December. This month in November, this relationship with you tapping in more deeply to your field of energy, understanding how that works internally through your body and what you can do about cultivating more energy in your body. So I've said this many times before. I'm going to repeat it today because it's crucial for you, if you want to get better, to begin some sort of daily ritual. And when it comes to your energy, nothing is more important, especially if you're someone who tends to struggle with parts of low energy or depression or anxiety in your life, to start to see what types of practices you can integrate in your life. And I'll give you a perfect example. I had a client who contacted me 2 days ago. She said that she needed to cancel her appointment for this coming Tuesday because she had a friend visiting from California. Now, a little background on this client is that she came to me she's been working with me for a decade, right? So my work is about balance and flow. So it's not like people come every week for 10 years, although some people can. However, it's more about you tap in when you need it. But usually, how I view my work, both the body work and the coaching practice, is really as preventative medicine. So the same thing as when you feel like you're losing energy in your body or you're starting to feel sick, the same way that people start to get emotionally drained, or there's a heightened level of anxiety that happens because a huge situation is occurring in their lives, like divorce, marriage, the death of a loved one. So, in both of those examples, I invite people to develop a daily practice so that when they get in trouble, of course, they can tap in and see me, call me. We can have a series of sessions. Yes, that always helps for a reboot. However, my focus is in offering you ways of living your life daily, continuously, without having to tap in to someone on a daily basis. You get a reset and then you practice that ongoingly. You get to reset yourself. To me, that is healthcare. That is caring for our health. So back to my client who says to me, I need to cancel next week's appointment because I have a friend visiting from California. Now, I worked with this client intensely for the past several months because she got into major trouble and she was in physical pain. She really had terrible physical pain. And so she had a trip that was coming up in the fall that she did not want to miss. So she said to me, please, you have to help me. You have to put me back together, right? You have to help me feel better. And I said, okay, great, let's do it. And here's what I'm going to require from you. You have to be super consistent, show up regularly, and not miss any appointments. And so we got her to, I think, truly was up to 95%. She came to me, she was in really bad shape, and she was feeling better every single session. Of course, she was consistent after not seeing me for several months. So she texts me, I need to, or contacted me and said, I need to cancel next week's appointment. And of course, as the good practitioner role, right? I said to her, okay, I totally understand that you might want to cancel and report to the following week. That's fine. However, let me remind you that the reason why you have gotten so much better over the past several months is because you have been consistent. And I would like to encourage you to put yourself first, which was a big part of her situation. Her situation, and I don't know if any of you might relate to this, was to put others first all the time. And that's how essentially she got injured, because she was moving too fast and she wanted to do something and actually had a pretty bad fall. With the perception, with the desire, with the focus of putting other people before her. And a lot of our work together was about reclaiming that space for herself. So all I said was, hey, your friend from California can sit in the waiting room. We have delicious tea. He can drink, can have a can read a book for an hour or a podcast and wait for you. Or there's plenty of things to do in this neighborhood while he wait for you for an hour. And she immediately responded back to me, okay, great, see you then. So my point is, I think that in her experience and the way that she saw it was that if something else shows up in our lives, that we should put ourselves second, that we need to put things in a different order in order to acclimate to this new condition that is arising. And what I'm suggesting for you is if you really want to cultivate your life force, if you really want to understand who you are, your vital energy, how to tap into all of that, is to put yourself first. Not in a way that is selfish, or maybe, yeah, it's a little selfish. I don't have that same relationship with the word selfish as I once had. For me, if I'm vital, if I'm energized, if I've slept well, last night I slept well, this morning I woke up, did my rituals, my hot water, lemon, turmeric, my oil, I did my smoothie, I rolled on my roller, I did my meditation, I chanted, I took a few minutes to read a few pages of my book. I wrote my gratitude on my Facebook group page. And so that all took me no longer than 30 minutes. It's just the practice of getting to do it, which put me first so that I can show up with you, for you today, energized, vital, alive. And you can feel that even through Zoom, even through the camera. So, my invitation to you this week, until we see each other again next week, is to really take a moment to sit with yourself as often as you can. And this might be as you're walking to your car or walking to the train station or upon arising. If you take that extra 5 minutes to tap in to your vital life force, your vital energy, your spirit, however you want to call it, tap into it. First of all, say thank you that you're breathing this morning, even if you don't feel like saying that. Sometimes our own thoughts get in the way. Just take a moment to tap in and to say thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for arising this morning. Thank you that I can open my eyes and see. Thank you that I can taste. Thank you that there is light upon awakening this morning. Get down to the simple nitty-gritty of things. Really start to see all of the many endless blessings that are upon you this very morning, this very moment. That is a key to cultivating and energizing yourself. And I will tell you something else. We are responsible for that. Not our spouse, not our children, not our parents, not our friends. We are responsible to cultivate that life force within us and become more confident about who you are, about how you show up through your day, to not be affected by other people's views or opinions or statements anywhere, to have the resiliency. That's part of your vital life force. To cultivate resiliency so that you are not affected by what's happening on the outside at a point where you cannot function properly in your own life. That requires a level of resiliency. And for that reason, we want to cultivate our vital energy. We want to be able to literally move through life with more ease, with more balance, and with more flow. So, my friends, Jenny writes, yes, I get up crazy early to spend some time to myself so I can show up for everybody else during the day. Thank you, Jenny, for sharing that. Jenny is a mother of 4 children, 3 of which, or at least 2 of which, I think are still living at home. She is an incredible woman, mother, friend, parent. Thank you for sharing that, Jenny, because you have a crazy schedule. You have to get up early to care for your children, for your dogs, for your family. And so making that extra time for ourselves, it's not just an option. I want to encourage you to view it as an absolute, that you come first. that you must cultivate that relationship with your own life force, with your own energy, because then you are ready to show up in your life for anyone around you, primarily for yourself, but also to cultivate this sense of happiness, of flow in your life. So, my friends, thank you for being with me today. I really appreciate you. If you have any friends in your life and you feel that they might benefit from joining us, please invite them to join us. I'll be here next Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we are going to dig deeper into this energetic force of fascia, of movement, of energy that moves through your fascia. We're going to go deeper into the science of how it works, how you can apply it in your life. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can always leave a comment. When you leave comments, it helps me, it helps the algorithm support me in reaching more people. So thank you for being here. I really hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Anali. Thank you, Sophia, and maybe even Pranjal if you're here. Thanks for being here. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful, balanced week. May you flow. May you be free. May you be full of ease. Wishing you much love. Until next week, everybody. Bye for now.